Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in today. I am going to be doing a series of quicker, more straightforward videos, just sharing some advice and some tips with you. So if you're up for that, please stay tuned. I recently found out that the average attention span of a human now is no more than 3 minutes. So here I am making these long videos with tons and tons and tons of dot points. And of course, it's just an overload. A lot of people can't do that. They can't process that. They don't have the bandwidth for that. And apparently I talk really fast. I don't really think that I do. But this is how I talk. So if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. It shows value in what I'm doing. And I am sharing this knowledge for free. And this is real, it's raw, and that's just how I like to talk. So thank you so much. So you probably saw the thumbnail. My video for today's topic, or the podcast at hand today, topic is eagles and pigeons. Yes, beautiful eagles, the bird of prey, and a pigeon, which is basically a rat with wings, which needs to scurry around for scraps and has to rely on being around groups of other pigeons for it to sustain survival. That was the topic that I wanted to share with you today. First things first, everything that we do, whether it's in the occult world, the spiritual world, the academia world, the workplace, is all in the mind. Everything that we do is in the mind. That's why I'm so interested in psychology, sociology, culture, and all of the factors that make the world the way it is, that influence the behaviors that we see today, understanding where we came from and how the fuck did we get here. These things are very interesting to me. And one of the main things that we are noticing now, we are living in this kind of, things come and go through kind of trends, I guess you could say, is that we are seeing such an attack on identity. Now, I will be getting into this further in some more heavy-duty videos, unpacking Luciferic consciousness and talking about why identity is such a hot topic, about everyone identifying and having to prove or, affirm their identities or whatever to other people. By the way, if you haven't figured it out, it's just another way to dilute people, and also it's a way to confuse people and weaken people. And the weakened, or the more weakened a person is, the more susceptible they are to influence, which means they are more easy to control. In many different types of culture, a lot of people, humans are a social species. We want to fit in, we want to feel included. And then we kind of get indoctrinated into these cultures, which are very destructive. For example, the gay culture, it is a one-way ticket to absolute ruin. There's no pursuing of excellence. There is no pursuing of reality. Everything's operating on a very kind of hedonistic level where everything's like an animal, where it's all very impulsive and there's lots of distractions. And that goes without saying that if you pursue pleasure and hedonism and your whole life is based on that, then you're not going to be using your time and energy in a constructive way that will yield anything really of any kind of value or meaning in the world. I know that's very hard to hear. If you're a gay man listening to that right now, please just reconsider what I have just said, because this is very serious stuff. And why am I doing these videos? Because I'm trying to help you. That's what I'm trying to do. I had a comment the other day, a very lovely comment. Someone said that when you do these videos, it's like you're putting a message into a bottle and sending it out into the sea in the hopes that someone will find it. And that is exactly what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not a dark person per se. I am simply sharing and shining the light on the darkness, which is actually coincidentally the meaning of my name, my real name. But getting on to today's topic, and let's get into it. Identity crisis. What the fuck does this mean? Why is it so important to have a sense of identity? All right, so we need identity. We need to know who we are. Okay, this is pretty straightforward stuff. And the Hermetic principles, which I was talking about in my last video, I brushed over them. One of them isn't just the main ones, like the law of gravity, law of conservation of energy, and so on, law of vibration, blah, blah, blah. One of them is the law of identity. Okay, so we are seeing lots of basically a breakdown in society where everyone's trying to chop and change their identity as a way of gaining social capital, when we should be finding out our identity as soon as possible and building on that identity so that we are able to go out into the world and really put our best foot forward and build real relationships with people because we know who we are. Now, this is where I always come back to when I was doing spiritual counseling sessions and doing readings. One of the things that I noticed a lot about people is that they don't know what they want. Now, we are creatures of desire. Everything we do is based on desire, okay? I desire to pick up this cup of coffee. I desire to have dinner tonight. I desire to, everything comes from desire. Desire is not a bad thing. We need desire, okay? We need a hunger for life, a passion for life. That's why I don't really let anyone who doesn't have passion or some level of zest for life, it's the biggest prerequisite for me letting someone into my life. You must have some level of passion. But what I'm saying is, when someone doesn't know who they are, it's when they say they don't know what they want, that's because they don't know who they are. They're in an identity crisis, okay? This is not a good place to be in from any psychological or occult point of view. It's not good, okay? Because we're living in a time-space continuum that is moving continuously. And it's like, the sea of time. It just keeps moving. Waves, one wave goes over the next wave, and the next moment goes over the next moment, and the next hour, and the next day, and the next week, and the next month, and the next year, and the next decade. And before you know it, you're 50. Too late. You're already at an age where you've already chewed up half of your life, and you've been in this kind of exploratory state of not being able to identify with who you are. So, first things first, no one outside of you can tell you who you are. This is something that only you can innately know if you have access to your own self. We are living in a society where we're basically taught self-hate from birth. We're taught that we're inadequate. We're taught that we're not attractive, because that ties into capitalism. Is that if I don't feel good about myself, then I have to buy that dress, or I've got to buy that piece of clothing, buy that car. I've got to make up for something of lack in the internal world with external materiality. That's the world that we're living in. Hate to break it to you. Which, by the way, is an illusion. Biggest catch of them all. And I can honestly say it's taken me a long time to finally get that in my brain, okay? Identity is so important, all right? Whether it's your sexuality, whether it's just what you stand for. The saying is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. Absolutely could not be more true, okay? So a lot of us are also kind of conditioned socially to not think that we're really worthy of something. Now, this is a key aspect to the concept of an eagle and a pigeon. When I know who I am, I know what I want, I'm a powerful, beautiful man. I have a brain, and I have no shame, and I have no empathy or guilt in terms of like feeling bad about who I am. I'm not modifying who I am to fit in. I just simply am. Okay? That is an eagle mindset. And I'm willing to do the work to achieve my goals. I know that just being me is not enough. Okay? This whole saying, one of the most toxic and spiritually filthy lines that I hear all the time, which is also linked to spiritual bypassing, big red flag, is that you're enough. You are enough as you are right now. This is absolutely absurd. If you were enough, then why be here? We are not all enough, and we all have work to do. Might be enough right now. You might have achieved your goals, but this instantly puts you in this kind of place where you don't have to do anything because you are enough. And that's all, you've reached your limit, you've reached your talent's limits, and that's it. Afraid to tell you that's not it. There's always more to do. And we could all be upping it a lot more, doing the work and stepping the fuck up. Now, it is said that the ones that talk the most about the stuff that they're going to do are the ones that do the least about it. That's why, as I considering myself an eagle, I don't go by what people say. I go by what people do. All right? So, for example, also that goes without saying, someone is going to show you how much they value you by how they treat you, by how they behave. Anyone can talk a good show and tell you that they're falling in love with you and that they like you and you're so pretty, but it's the actions that show the sincerity behind what they are saying. Okay? Action, action, action. How many times have we heard someone talk a show and their work is crap? They're not doing the work. Okay? Silence and the power of silence is a really big theme for me this year, in terms of understanding that I don't need to talk a lot to people. I'll do these videos when I'm in the mood, I'm sharing information, but the rest of the time I am in silence because my strength comes from my solidarity, and I don't need outside variables to affirm or to reaffirm that of what I am. I simply just am what I am. Okay? The ones that get out here on the comment section and the ones that battle it out on the, in the feeds on Instagram and YouTube, they're the ones that have got fuck all going on in their life. They're watching what other people are doing and they're talking about other people. This is a pigeon mindset. It is not a bird of prey. You see, an eagle mindset, and I love the analogy, that's why I'm using it, is an eagle isn't concerning itself with something so insignificant and pitiful as a pigeon. A pigeon is food to the eagle. Now, that might hurt some people's feelings, but if you go out into nature, you'll also see that not all animals are equal. Not all humans are equal. Not all things in the spiritual world are equal. There's different levels to beings. I hate to break it to you, but that's actually what's going on here. Okay? So understanding your own mindset and where you fit into things is key to living a life that will yield something. And for most people, that is scary, that requires risk, that requires self-reflection, that requires self-evaluation, that could be painful. So I'll just avoid it at all costs and I'll just live out my life and stay in this complacent job for 30 years, live in the same place that I've lived in for 30 years and resist change at all costs. And then all of a sudden I get cancer and I die. Okay? Everything that we do in the physical world is connected to the spiritual world. The spiritual world is the backup blueprint of the physical world. So in the devil card, we understand in terms of the concept of the devil is that there's no such thing as the spiritual world. This type of mindset is incredibly destructive because it's evading consequence and it's reducing everything to just physical matter. Salve coagulae, as above, so below, but there's nothing higher than physical matter. This is how that type of mindset would think. It's not good. If you're in a level of confusion, you need to get unconfused quick, because the longer that you stay in confusion, or the longer that you stay in indifference or kind of some of this ambiguous state, the more it's going to be harder to get out of that, because we create those patterns in our heads and our neural pathways in our brain, and the harder it's going to be to get back onto life. Okay, so my hot tip, if you don't know who you are, if you've grown up in a narcissistic household where you had to go along with what your parents gave you, and now you're reprogramming, I know this is hard. This is very hard stuff to do, but it is not impossible to do. There is hope. What is life without hope? You have to find your passion. What makes you feel good? What do you enjoy doing? What are you good at? Focus on that. Your passion is where your purpose is. And it doesn't matter what that is. It could be anything. Following your passion is the best advice I can give you to getting into eagle mindset. A pigeon will just go with the mindset of, well, I'm a singer, I like to sing, I could pursue a career in singing, but I'll just take that job in accounting because my mum was an accountant and my dad was an accountant, and that's safe. You didn't come here to play it safe, okay? You did not come here for that. Newsflash, you're going to have to come back and do it again. You are. Please don't think that you aren't. You are. All right, so finding identity is really what it all comes down to. It affects your health, and it affects in the belief of who you are. When you know who you are, you believe that you deserve it. You deserve to live a good life. You deserve to live a healthy life. I deserve to look good. I deserve to be lean and healthy and have a beautiful body. I deserve to have it. If I don't believe that I deserve something, I will not get it. So this is where a tip I'll give you in this podcast, Eagle Mindset. If you're wanting to lose lots of weight, what is it within you that's holding you back? What fucking excuse are you using today? If you really and truly want something, you have to remove the obstacles and the resistance within yourself to do that. And that also could mean resistance with people around you that don't support you, that don't believe in you. You get away from them and you fuck them off. Doesn't matter whether it's family, it doesn't matter whether it's a friend of 10 years, I don't give a fuck. If they are not conducive to your succession and your wanting to grow, they have to go. You're not going to do well. Like an eagle, a beautiful eagle can't soar high when it's surrounded by pigeons. It just can't. Think of it this way. It's like putting a fish in filthy, polluted water in an aquarium, and then the fish gets sick. Is it the fish's fault? No. Okay, it's the fucking environment. If we put a seed in contaminated soil and the seed doesn't really grow, or it really produces weak results when it starts to grow and push up through the dirt, well, it can't because it's in filthy, contaminated soil. Do you get where I'm going with this? Does this make sense? I hope it does. If you're around people that have low psychology, are emotionally immature, that are living in a world that isn't proportionate to reality in their own identity, or if they're in some kind of level of fucking identity crisis, get away from them. Okay? It's not going to help you. They can't give you something that they don't have, and they're in resistance to the resistance within them. That's what it is. So if you believe that you're not enough, then you're not enough. If you want to lose that weight, you have to envision what it would feel like to be at the beach, looking skinny and beautiful, just like you want in your head. You're wearing the clothes that you want to wear. You're not ashamed of your body now. You're out in the sun and you feel desired. You feel sexy. You feel beautiful. You're thinking of the changes that you're wanting to alchemize in your own physical body. So in order to do that, you're going to have to shift your mind. Something has to change in your mind before it can change in your reality. Okay? That's why a lot of these visualization techniques are absolutely so imperative. When I'm performing a ritual or conducting something to the spiritual world, there is no guilt in my mind. I have no shame in my mind. I believe that I have a right to ask for what I'm asking for, and I'm going to get my goal and focus on that goal with military precision until I get it. Okay, so if it's not in alignment with the answer of yes, and it's on some vibration that is in a no to what I want, I just remove the no. All right, this is some heavy stuff that I'm telling you, and I have to word it in this kind of way because this is very serious stuff. We don't have a lot of time. Life goes bang, really quick, and it's all over. And the last thing we want to do is get to a point or a category or a stage in our life where we feel like we could have done better. Okay, so rationalizing that you deserve what you want, getting out of your own way to get that, believing that you do deserve love, you do deserve the relationship that you want, but anything that is not at the standard that you are willing to accept, and you're putting up with that, that's actually a level of sabotage. Okay, it really is. And you're actually destroying your design when you do that. That's why I'd rather be on my own. And a lot of my time I'm on my own, and it is hard. It is very hard. It's very painful. It's very lonely. But also a big part of understanding that eagles can go to places that pigeons just simply can't. And the eagle is alone, but it's not lonely, because it's in a completely different category to itself, unto itself, to other species of birds, because the eagle is a bird of prey, talons ripping, okay? So it's goal focused, it swoops in on what it needs and gets the results that it needs. So that being said, with an eagle mindset, it's not all fun and games. If you want to up the level that you get in return, you have to up the stakes that you're willing to put up to do that. The higher that you go, the higher that you go, the less altitude it is up there. Okay? It's lonely up there. But it's so fucking worth it. Okay? That's why I don't give my time and energy to people that just don't understand me, can't receive me, are confused about me. I just don't give them time. By the way, you've got to be very specific about your time. Not everyone is suitable for you all the time. So a lot of it is you're doing the work to yield the result that you want. So you have to be very greedy with your time. No one should ever have 24-hour access to you, ever. And anyone who's messaging you every single day, messaging you, ping pong chatting with you, it already shows that they're so far behind the 8 ball. When you're in work mode, You don't have time to be at multiple paradigms at one time because you are focused on your mission and you're in your zone and you are committed and you're doing the diligence that is required to get it done. Okay? So that also being said, that I have to take ownership as an eagle if something goes wrong in my life. It's nobody else's fault but my own, because it was my choice. I accept my failures and I accept all of my success as well. Okay? If I'm also wanting to do better, then I have to understand that I need to acquire a skill set that will unlock the thing that I haven't gotten yet. So I need to understand, I need to look at where I am, look at the results and go, well, if I was already doing that well, I would already have it. So what is it about me that I need to work on and change to overcome, to unlock that skill set, to develop a new skill set that will make me worthy to get what I want? What resistance in my beliefs about my identity do I need to adjust? Do I feel unworthy? Do I carry lots of kind of self-doubt about myself? Well, if I have lots of self-doubt, where does that self-doubt come from? Trace the fucking cord back to the wall. And a lot of the time, I know it's said, as it always is, in psychology, a lot of our problems come from our childhood. So if you're able to resolve those problems that we had in childhood with our parents, it will help us a lot more. As we know that humans that do well tend to come from families that have some kind of nuclear family. They have a support system. A lot of fractured, damaged, and mentally ill people come from fractured families. Okay? Broken families or parents that were insane. It all directly correlates to our belief system of ourselves. If you don't believe that you are a beautiful eagle, you're just a victim. And you'll just be trampled in the sidelines. And don't think that you won't. You will. Okay? The results speak for themselves. So work out those issues. A lot of the time we're holding on to things that we need to let go. I need to work out all the time. I'm constantly assessing, what am I holding on to that I need to let go of? What is stopping me from moving forward in progress in my life so that I can go on? What's too heavy for me to carry? I can't carry that relationship breakdown from years ago. I can't carry this person anymore. I can't do it. I need to let them go. So I'm able to keep myself light as new things are coming in. I'm letting go of all the things to make space within myself and my own heart so that I can sustain the level that I want to operate at. So understanding my own self-empowerment is key to getting what I want and getting into that mindset that allows me to do what I want to do. I hope that makes sense as well. So we want to be around people that are empowering and have an ability that I want to bring into myself and that I want to acquire within myself. As we are all aspects of the divine, we're all aspects of each other mirroring back to each other. When we have people around us, it's because they have something that we want to integrate and bring into us. That's why the fuck they're there. Okay, I hope that all made sense. Eagles and pigeons. It is a mindset and it is a choice. Now, some people will never be an eagle, and that's okay. It is what it is. But if you're willing to understand what I've talked about today, and I've covered a lot in this quick podcast, where we're 27 minutes now, you'll see that you can improve your life if you're prepared to do the work. And, affirmations can only go so far as well. So it's one thing to just say, I am beautiful, I am assured, I am successful, I am financially free, I am rich, I am powerful. You've got to believe it. Energetically, you have to mean it for it to actualize. That's why a lot of mantras don't work, because there's got to be a level of belief and depth behind the energy of those words. Okay, that's also with magic and with any type of spell work and asking the spiritual world for something. There's a difference between wanting something and needing something. Okay, you've got to believe that you need it. And if the strength of what you're asking for is not strong enough, forget it. Okay, absolutely complete waste of time. All right, so the spiritual world isn't going to do jack shit for me. I have to get off my ass and have the energy and the discipline to see it through. What they will do is help very gently guide me through what I'm wanting, provided that I'm doing the work in my own life first. There's no shortcuts. It's just work. And your relationship to being uncomfortable is directly proportionate to how successful you can be. Because leveling up is not comfortable. It is painful as hell. All right. So this has been a great video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below and let me know about eagles and pigeons. Are you ready to level the fuck up? What are you doing? What are you not doing? What's your thoughts on this? Share something with me. I love a whole diversity of opinions that are out there. I think they're all valid, most of them. But to be honest, the results speak for themselves. It all comes down to the willingness to do the action phase and do the work. So lots of love. I'll see you in the next video. This was my video on eagles and pigeons. Bye. Bye.